fight cause I'm very nice. I practice that every night to get on this herd mic. You know I'm alert, right? You know that it ain't nothing to serve, right? And I be killing tracks to the earth like my birthright. I'm solid like sound money and you fools sound.
Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. This is your host, MagMongoSlade. So let's talk about MVP and Kofi Kingston face to face. And this is where Kofi Kingston turned it up. I thoroughly enjoyed this. This was very good. And you actually get to see what Kofi can bring to the table as a character, as a personality, when he is serious. There seems to be two Kofi Kingstons. The everyday Kofi Kingston that chucks pancakes and twerks and claps and is just overall silly as hell. And then there is serious Kofi that tries to be inspirational and tries to be uplifting, but is still very sharp, very witty, and very aggressive. And I know that WWE tries to create those types of personalities. They think that that's an angle to the character, that you go from being fun-loving and jolly to I'm gonna kick your head off. Like they love doing that. But I am a huge fan of Kofi when he's serious. So let's talk about this segment. So, Kofi says, so like for better or worse, some moments change you. And it says that he's not really quite, made up his mind about how Woods getting dragged across the cage changed him. But there is one thing for sure, that, people have been disrespecting Woods. And after his performance that he nearly beat the WWE champion, he wants them to put some respect on his name. He says that losing is okay. He understands losing. But what happened after the match wasn't okay. And for that, he got to make Lashley pay. So then MVP comes out. MVP has got his ladies, and MVP says, like, you winning the title, the idea of you winning the title is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? He says, you're a feel-good story, but, that was then, this is now. He said Lashley is on vacation. He didn't have time to deal with the likes of you. And when he says that, Kofi says, like, when I was champion for almost 6 months, it wasn't no days off. I went around the world showing kids in Africa, you could do this too. This is what you could be. And I still made it to work. I still showed up. I did everything. I worked hard. Like, and he did something I really liked. He was like, I don't know if it's just me, he was like, Bobby getting kind of soft. And he was like, he's looking more and more beatable every week. You got him hanging out with these ladies. You got him relaxing. You got him chilling. You got him taking days off in the middle of the WWE title run. He's looking beatable. He got his eye off the ball. He got his eye off the prize. And what happens when your eye go off that prize? Somebody else takes that prize. And MVP was kind of like, because, that's kind of true. It's kind of true, It's the old eye of the tiger. It's just Rocky, Of course, MVP says, like, when you went to Ghana and, to show off the title and everything, you were just doing that for your own ego. He had to hand wave it. And you was just doing it for your own ego. And then so, Kofi starts talking about MVP that, Lashley looking a little washed up. He's not looking as almighty as ever. He says, you actually look a little bit more like you, past his prime. He talked about how he been milking this knee injury. And MVP was like, look, I'm hurt. I'm legitimately hurt. And he got this cane or whatever. He's been carrying this cane forever. And he's talking about, I'm legitimately hurt. But if I wasn't, I'd come in there and whoop your ass. He's like, oh, really? This was a great segment. I really found this to be fun. His MVP is really good, and he's the dealer on this shit. Like, it seems that Lashley's feuds are just going to be MVP's feuds. MVP is going to pretty much start the fight, and Lashley's going to end up finishing it, which is perfectly fine with me. because this is typically how, sometimes it goes when you're an MVP style character, which is, what we call, a more mental based character, the manager. He's in the Bobby the Brain Heenan position. Bobby Heenan always had like a heavy to handle his situations. Bobby most of the time started it, but he always got somebody waiting in the wings that's going to help him when things get too rough. Jim Cornette was another one who would do stuff like that. So this is a perfect role for a manager, is that he's going to start the fight, and the big bad heel is going to step up to do the fighting. So Kofi comes out of the ring and confronts MVP. MVP tries to hit him with the cane. Kofi ducks it. Boom, hits him with the Trouble in Paradise. He says, "Now you hurt. Look at you. Now you hurt." I thought that was an excellent spot. So we've planted the flag. It's official. Kofi, Lashley, Money in the Bank. This is a prime opportunity for Kofi to win the title and then get screwed by Money in the Bank shenanigans. It's also a prime opportunity for somebody else to win the Money in the Bank and then screw Lashley with Money in the Bank shenanigans. I truly believe whoever wins the Money in the Bank will likely win the title. And I for some reason, I just don't see Lashley making it to SummerSlam. I don't see, and I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, we need to see Lashley and Brock. We need to see Lashley and Brock." And I'm like, yeah, but you forgot, like, there's one distinct problem with that. It's Brock. Does Brock care? Why he hasn't been interested in doing hoss fights in a while? He did the shits with Goldberg, and he did the short feud with Undertaker, the third or fourth feud. He ain't really been that interested in getting in there with like hoss guys. So I know he did a couple of matches with Strowman, and Roman. He really needed to work with Roman because that was Vince's guy. But in recent years, it's been give him Balor, Ricochet, AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan. It ain't been he's trying to go in there and do some 15-minute work rate match with another 300-pound guy. He's just not been Brock's thing. And I can just see Brock being like, pass. He's not. It would definitely be Brock trying to raise Lashley up. But my situation, plus I don't think Brock could ever, like, it would be like a badass thing to see Brock in the Hurt Lock. But I will fully expect Brock to break it. And I think that's the beauty of it, is that that's kind of something that you want to see. But then if he breaks it, or he somehow gets out of it, you've killed Lashley. So it really doesn't do you any good to have Brock and Lashley, because if Lashley loses, then, he loses his mystique as a character. If Brock loses, then what? Lashley is his replacement? I just don't see that happening. And then Brock and Lashley are about the same age anyway. So no, Brock's not going to do it. I don't think Brock would do it. I think Brock is going to come back though, but I don't think he's going to do it. I think he'll probably be more likely to work with somebody else, even Riddle more than Lashley. Somebody who can't easily replace him. But I think Lashley doesn't really need the match with Brock. I think Lashley is so established enough that he can get to that point. Like, sure, he needs like more WrestleMania main events and stuff like that under his belt to fully get on that next level. And I know that's what everybody wants. Everybody wants Lashley to be able to people have been trying to make him the Black Brock for a long time. But I think I look at Lashley in the same vein as kind of Batista. Like Brock is in a different stratosphere when it comes to what he can do, because he can do the work rate matches, but he can also do the, break you in half in 2 minutes matches. Guys like Batista never really, you had to be on a certain level for Batista to be able to convincingly destroy you in like a minute. If you're like an under mid card guy, then, Batista breaking you in like 3 minutes is fine. Batista was never the guy that went through and absolutely crushed main event guys, except for that one time when he caught John Cena, coming what was it, like Elimination Chamber or something like that. So that was about it. Otherwise, Batista is kind of a go 15, 20 minutes, do some psychological stuff, a big sell kind of guy. And I see Lashley kind of doing that too. Lashley's more of a work rate guy than Brock is. So that's kind of the vein I see him in, So I don't really see that. Where it's like we never got Brock and Batista, which hurts me to my heart to this day that we never got Brock and Batista. But I thought that would have been natural. I thought that, like, when Batista came back, I thought, like, oh, that's the natural marriage right there. Give us Brock and Batista. It just never happened, So I don't think Lashley and Brock is ever going to happen either. So I think what you have to do is you have to put Lashley in a position where he breaks through on his own, and I think he has the ability to do it. Sometimes guys are not going to have the other guy there to put them over. So I think that, the match you want, if you're really trying to get Lashley to the next level, is Lashley and Roman. That's really what you want. If that's really, you want to take Lashley to the next level. But I think that's more of a Drew McIntyre position where they're probably going to go with Drew and Roman. And I think that's probably going to end up being SummerSlam's main event. If I have the choice, that would be SummerSlam's main event. It would be Drew and Roman. And then Lashley would wrestling Cena. I wouldn't go with Cena and Roman. I wouldn't do that. That's just me personally. But either or situation is better than, it depends on whether you got Brock or not. But I love the idea but I still see Lashley getting fucked over by some Money in the Bank shenanigans. And it'd be the only way to get the title off of him without him looking weak, You could have him demolish a guy or barely scrape by in a match, and then the Money in the Bank dude shows up and cashes in on him. Like, will it happen at Money in the Bank? I don't know. It depends on who it is. Will it happen the next night on Raw, or will it happen the night of SummerSlam? They've done a couple of Money in the Bank cash-ins at SummerSlam. I don't know. But I definitely see that Lashley's run is not going to last much longer. I don't think... It would be fun if Kofi was the guy to beat him. But I don't see that happening. I think Kofi is more of a stopgap to get Lashley through Money in the Bank to whatever he's going to be doing at SummerSlam. So hopefully he gets lucky and he gets the John Cena sweepstakes, because I think Cena and Lashley would be great. I would definitely be surprised if he gets Brock. So we'll see. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel through Subscribestar, which you can find the link in the description. And I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace out.